So this was a game last October 2019 in the training game of my advanced player. So here, Reaper played black and Ice played white. So the game started with d4 or the pawns opening. Black replied d5. Then c4 for white, going to be Queen's Gambit. Black replied with a martial defense by playing knight to f6. White decided to play the classical main line of his Queen's Gambit by playing e3. And then black replied with bishop f5, which is also good to control the center and activate the bishop. White replied bishop d3. Actually, this is a correct or a good move for white, or the classic move for white, but black should should also try to take the pawn on d5 to maintain the power in the center and the pressure of the pieces and activate and develop the piece attacking the queen, because after queen takes d5, knight c3, then queen d6 or queen d1, and then the development continues for white, which is better. Or if after c takes d5, knight takes d5, then knight to d2, controlling this square, creating a tactics of pork. So black is forced to move his knight to f6, knight to f6, then knight gf3, c6, knight h4, then knight bishop d7. So the development continues for white. So I prefer to take the pawn on the center, no? But the game goes with bishop to d3. Then black replied queen d7 to maintain the power in the bishop. Bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, then white replied knight e2. This is a very awkward move, because by playing the knight on e2, it neglects the main center piece or the main attack, no? And it also develops a blocking the queen, or the knight is not in a good position in e2. So we should try to move pawn takes pawn, queen takes d5. This is the best move on that line. And then knight f3, knight c6, castle kingside, e6, knight c3, queen to h4. As you can see, the white positional advantage is very advantageous for white here. A late development for black only if you take the pawn to d5, but the game continues with knight to e2, g6. Black also neglects the best move here, because it's very simple. Just take the pawn here by playing d takes c4, and then castle kingside, knight c6, knight to d2, then e5. So here the black is in an advantage mode. He manipulate and control the center very well in this position. If white tried to take the pawn on the c4, long castle, and it develops an attack to the center with the help of the rook, so he can easily regain the lost pawn. What if d takes e5, moved by white? Then obviously it's knight takes e5. As you can see, it's very advantageous for black, and we don't want that position to happen. And then what if d5. So after d5, knight b4, doubling the attack on the center. Knight takes c4, then knight b takes d5, which is very good for black. No? But rather, what happened here is instead of capturing the pawn on c4, he chooses to move his pawn in g6. Then white applied queen b3, very good. It really controls the squares in the center. Oh, sorry. After queen b3, b6, defending the pawn on the b file. Knight g3, attacking the knight. I rather choose knight bc3, no, to control the center very well. So queen d7, knight d2, bishop g7, castle kingside, e4, another bad move for white because it will just take by the knight. So knight takes e4, c takes d5, then knight f6, not bad, and there's a nice isolated pawn. And with the help of the bishop and the queen, with the help of the rook, I believe that it will be a win-win situation for black. So after knight takes c4, what if after knight takes c4, c takes d5, no, knight d takes e4, d takes e4, bishop e3, no, to support the bishop, the pawn on d4. But rather what happened here is instead of capturing this, black replied e6. You should always see the bad move in the black side. No? Don't miss the winning line. This is very important, especially in your level. So e5, knight g4. Now the black knight is in struggle. White should only need to move this pawn on the h3. So what happened now is knight to f3, knight c6, a3, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, and so on, and white wins on the endgame by ice. But as you can see, there are too many mistakes still, mistake in the opening, and some of you doesn't know or doesn't see the mistakes in the opening. It's very important for us to see the blunders and mistakes and bad opening, and then brutally harass the position of our opponent. Once we see the bad side of your opponent's position, then it's time for us to strike for the win. The only question is how can we see, how can we able to see the best move in every situation, and how can we able to see the mistakes of our opponent? It's very easy. Just follow the principles of chess as I taught to you, and then analyze it well, observe the game, and get familiarized, especially in your opening line, your chosen opening line. Thank you.